Welcome to the second episode of HTML tutorial series. First, we will see HTML attributes. HTML attributes provide additional information about HTML elements. HTML attributes. All HTML elements can have attributes. Attributes provide additional information about elements. Attributes are always specified in a star tag. Attributes usually come in name slash value name value pairs like name equals to value. The href attribute. The a tag defines a hyperlink. The href attribute specifies the URL of the page the link goes to. Less than a space href equals to a web address greater than sign visit W3 schools closing a tag. You will learn more about links in our HTML links chapter. The src attribute. The image tag is used to embed an image in an HTML page. The source attribute specifies the path to the image to be displayed. Okay, example, less than img space, so src equals to the location of the image. If it is in the same place as the HTML file we are working on, then a location like img girl name dot image type, that's enough. There are two ways to specify the URL in the src attribute. Absolute URL, link to an external image that is hosted on another website. Example, src equals to https, that's a web address. So w3schools.com, it has some images in the images folder, and the image name is img_girl.jpg. Note, external images might be under copyright. If you do not get permission to use it, you may be in violation of copyright laws. In addition, you cannot control external images. It can suddenly be removed or changed. Relative URL. Links to an image that is hosted within the website. Here the URL does not include the domain name. If the URL begins without a slash, it will be relative to the current page. Example, src equals to img_girl.jpg. It means that the image is in the same place or in the same folder where this index.html file is. Okay, if the URL begins with a slash, it will be relative to the domain. Example is, so if the URL begins with a slash, it will be relative to the domain. Example, src equals to /images/img_girl.jpg. Okay, it means that whatever website this particular index.html file indicates, actually that web address /images a folder /img_girl.jpg. Okay, it is almost always best to use relative URLs. They will not break if you change domain. The height, the width and height attributes. The img tag should always contain the width and the height attributes, which specifies the width and height of the image in pixels. The width and height of the image in pixels. img source image called jpg, width 500, height 600, fine, could be. The alt attribute. The required alt attribute for the img tag specifies an alternate text for an image. If the image for some reason cannot be displayed, this can be due to slow connection or an error in the src attribute, or if the user uses a screen reader. Example: image src img girl.jpg alt girl with a jacket. Wait a minute. See what happens if we try to display an image that does not exist. Image src img typo.jpg alternate girl with a jacket. We will learn more about images in our HTML images chapter. The style attribute. The style attribute is used to add styles to an element such as color, font, size, and more. Example: p style equals to color colon red semicolon in double quotation. This is a red paragraph. You will learn more about styles in our HTML styles chapter. The lang attribute. You should always include the lang attribute inside the HTML tag to declare the language of the web page. This is meant to assist search engines and browsers. The following example specifies English as the language. Doc type HTML lang equals to en in double quotation body HTML close. Country codes can also be added to the language code in the lang attribute. So the first two characters define the language of the HTML page and the last two characters define the country. The following example specifies English as the language and United States as the country. HTML opening tag HTML space lang equals to en hyphen us in double quotation. Okay. You can see all the language codes in our HTML language code reference. The title attribute. The title attribute defines some extra information about an element. The value of the title attribute will be displayed as a tooltip when you mouse over the element. Example: P title equals to I am a tooltip, and this is a paragraph P. So title attribute is used to show tooltips or some additional information about the HTML element. We suggest always use lowercase attributes. The HTML standard does not require lowercase attribute names. The title attribute and all other attributes can be written with uppercase or lowercase like title or title. However, W3C recommends lowercase attributes in HTML and demands lowercase attributes for all stricter document types like XHTML. At W3 schools, we always use lowercase attributes names. We suggest always quote attribute values. The HTML standard does not require quotes around attribute values. However, W3C recommends quotes in HTML and demands quotes for stricter document types like XHTML. Good. A equals to href equals to the web address inside quotation. Okay. Bad is this: the web address, the href attribute is not in double quotation. This is a bad practice. Sometimes you have to use quotes. This example will not display the title attribute correctly because it contains I space. So since that in the opening p tag, the title attribute, you have to insert double quotation around about W3 schools because there's a space here after about. So without double quotation, the title or the tooltip text will not show properly. At W3 schools, we always use quotes around attributes values. Single or double quotes. Double quotes around attribute values are the most common in HTML, but single quotes can also be used in some situations when the attribute value itself contains double quotes. It is necessary to use single quotes. Like this is in the opening p tag, title actually will be indicating tooltip text some additional information about this p element, but this tooltip text contains double quotation itself, like John Shotgun Nelson. So you have to enclose this value with single quotes, okay, or vice versa. If the value contains single quotes, you have to surround them by double quotes. Chapter summary. All HTML elements can have attributes. The href attribute of A specifies the URL of the page the link goes to. The src attribute of img specifies the path to the image to be displayed. The width and height attributes of img provide size information for images. The alt attribute of img provides an alternate text for an image. The style attribute is used to add styles to an element such as color, font, size, and more. The lang attribute of the HTML tag declares the language of the web page, and the title attribute defines some extra information about the element. HTML exercises test yourself. Add a tooltip to the paragraph below with the text about W3 schools. Okay, to add a tooltip, we just have to use the title attribute. Title equals to about W3 schools. So this is the paragraph. Fine. When we will keep the mouse cursor over this paragraph, the tooltip text will be shown. Now we have to go to the next chapter. HTML headings. HTML headings are titles or subtitles that you want to display on a web page. Okay. Example: heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, heading 5, and heading 6. HTML headings. HTML headings are defined with the H1 to H6 tags. H1 defines the most important heading. H6 defines the least important heading. Example: H1 heading 1, H2 heading 2. Now the browsers automatically add some white space or a margin before and after a heading. Headings are important. Search engines use headings to index the structure and content of your web pages. Users often skim a page by its headings. It is important to use headings to show the document structure. H1 headings should be used for main headings, followed by H2 headings, then the less important H3, and so on. Note: use HTML headings for headings only. Don't use headings to make text big or bold. Okay. Bigger headings. Each HTML heading has a default size. However, you can specify the size for any heading with the style attribute using the CSS font size property. Like H1, by default it is the biggest heading, but still if you want to make it even bigger, then you could doing this. H1 space style equals to font size colon 60 pixel semicolon. That's correct. HTML test yourself with exercises. Use the correct HTML tag to add a heading with the text London. So H1 opening tag London, then H1 closing tag. That will be enough. And this is a paragraph. Next, okay. HTML tag reference. W3 equals tag reference contains additional information about these tags and their attributes. Tag description. HTML defines the root of an HTML document. Body defines the document's body. H1 to H6 defines HTML headings. For a complete list of all available HTML tags, visit our HTML tag reference. Let's go to the next chapter now. HTML paragraphs. A paragraph always starts on a new line and usually a block of text. HTML paragraphs. The HTML element defines a paragraph. A paragraph always starts on a new line, and the browsers automatically add some white space or a margin before and after a paragraph. Example, this is a paragraph, this is another paragraph. HTML display. You cannot be sure how HTML will be displayed. Large or small screens and resized windows will create different results. With HTML, you cannot change the display by adding extra spaces or extra lines in your HTML code. The browser will automatically remove any extra white spaces and lines when the page is displayed. Okay, example P. This paragraph contains a lot of lines in the source code, but the browser ignores it. This paragraph contains a lot of spaces in the source code, but the browser ignores it. The HTML horizontal rules. The HR tag defines a thematic break in an HTML page and is most often displayed as a horizontal rule. The HR element is used to separate content or define a change in an HTML page. Example. So H1, this is the heading, after this is the paragraph, then HR horizontal rule, which is also known as thematic break, then another heading, another paragraph, and another thematic break. The HR tag is an empty tag, which means that it has no end tag. HTML line breaks. The HTML BR element defines a line break. Use BR if you want a line break, a new line, without starting a new paragraph. Example P. This is line break, a paragraph, line break with line breaks. This is a paragraph with line breaks, lot of line breaks. The BR tag is an empty tag, which means that it has no end tag. That's why it is also known as a single tag. The poem attribute, the poem problem. This poem will display on a single line. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. My Bonnie lies over the sea. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. Oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. Closing p tag. Solution. The HTML pre-element. The HTML pre-element defines pre-formatted text. The text inside the pre-element is displayed in a fixed width font, usually Courier, and it preserves both spaces and line breaks. So pre-opening tag, my Bonnie lies over the ocean, my Bonnie lies over the sea, my Bonnie lies over the ocean, oh bring back my Bonnie to me. Closing pre-tag. HTML exercises. Use the correct HTML tag to add a paragraph with the text Hello World. HTML tag to add a paragraph with the text Hello World. So opening P, Hello World, then closing P.